What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the March 2023 UK property market update. I think it's safe to say that we're past the whole debate as to whether the UK property market is crashing or not. It's not, and we can now look forwards into what's happening this year and what's going to happen into the rest of the year. We're now at the end of Q1. We're in March 2023 in the UK property market. A quarter of the year is gone, and we're going to look at the stats in a moment, but we can basically see that for the first 3 months of the year, the UK property market has continued to steadily recover and steadily grow off the back of everything that happened last year. I'm talking about the war, the budget, the wild inflation, wild interest rate increases, all of that. The UK property market, yes, did take a stumble, especially back end last quarter of last year, 2022. But for the first 3 months of this year, we have seen steady increases. And when we look at the stats from Rightmove and Halifax, we can see that the average price of property coming to the market for March 2023 in the UK has risen in March, according to Rightmove, by 0.8%. Remember that Rightmove are properties that are being listed, so it gives an indication of demand. And for Halifax, the monthly change for March is 1.1%. Those are solid numbers when you consider that the average yearly growth in the UK property market is 6.7% over the last 10 years. A 1 month growth of 1% is very, very solid. When we look at some commentary in the Rightmove index, we can see that it says the beginning of the spring season has seen stability and confidence continuing to return to the market as it recovers from the turbulence at the end of 2022. As I just mentioned, everything that happened back end of last year. It also acknowledges that the pace of the market reached an unsustainable level in the last 2 years. What does it mean by that? It's talking about the incredible growth that we saw during 2020 and 2021 during the global health crisis. And if you're interested, check out my videos from 2020 and 2021 during that time when we were seeing the property market absolutely go to the moon, guys. And why was that? It was because in the midst of the global health crisis, people were looking to move outside of cities. We saw a migration out of London into suburbs, more rural areas where there was more space, bigger houses. People were taking advantage of the fact and came to a realization that, hey, I can work from home now, okay? And they wanted to get away from cities. And so they moved into bigger houses. They went outside of London, or people just moved in general to larger homes during that period. And in parallel to that, we saw really strong growth in the UK property market in 2020 and 2021, and also the beginning of 2022, to be fair. The point being made here is that growth was like steroid growth. It wasn't natural, normal, steady state growth, okay? It was being driven by an external factor, i.e. a virus that came from the other side of the world and had a positive effect on the UK property market. And as we go on, it says it's slowing down to a normal level, though the speed of the slowdown to more normality was accelerated by the reaction of September's mini budget. Again, that's another good point, okay? The slowdown that came at the back end of last year was in part natural. It was bound to come after 2 and a bit years of uncharacteristically high growth. But that slowdown was almost like someone smashing on the brakes on a car suddenly, right? It was catalyzed by what our incompetent government did from September onwards. To be fair, they've been incompetent the whole time. But of course, this is not a political channel, it is a property channel. And if we have a look at this graph here from the Rightmove index for March 2023, we can see that graphically, the line of growth from December onwards is steadily trending upwards, which indicates that there is a gradual recovery going on in the UK property market. And that same information is represented here in percentage terms. You can see January 0.9% growth, February was flat, March 0.8% growth. So first quarter of 2023, we are seeing steady growth in the housing market. And then let's take a look at another source, the Halifax stats. We can see that on this graph here, the purple line, similar to what we just saw on the Rightmove one, from November this time through to February, we're seeing a trend upwards in the monthly percentage change in house prices from November to February 2023. And we know that Halifax is one of the biggest mortgage lenders in the UK. So they're backwards looking at mortgages that have been agreed, as opposed to Rightmove, which is looking at houses that have been listed and waiting for an offer and a completion to come in, but both giving us a good end-to-end complete view of the housing market. When we look at some commentary, we can see that when comparing to January, there was a 1.1% increase in house prices through to February. And it also talks about mortgage rates. It talks about recent reductions in mortgage rates. What it's saying there is that we saw a spike, as we all know, in mortgage rates back end of last year. After that budget, people were saying that we're gonna exist in an environment of permanently high, unaffordable interest rates and mortgage rates. But of course that didn't happen, guys. They have normalized and come back down. And that is what this article is talking about. That's improved consumer confidence as the mortgage market has settled down to a more calm, sustainable level. And that in turn has promoted resilience in the labor market, has helped stabilize prices, house prices, following the falls that we've seen in November and December, back end of last year. And then lastly, some more commentary. Since we're on the topic of interest rates, Rightmove say that the average mortgage rates have fallen back from their peak last year, with the average rates, given numbers here, for somebody looking to make a 15% deposit on a 5-year fixed mortgage rate, it's now around about 4.65%. It was 4.75% last year, and in October it was 5.89%. So that is a really significant decrease in the space of 5 months. But of course, overall, higher than in March 2022, before all of the chaos caused by the budget in the financial and housing markets. Back then, 5-year fixed rate mortgages were 2.48%, guys. And it lends to a bigger point, guys. Even though we are seeing, as at today, March 2023 in the UK housing market, prices are steadily recovering, mortgage rates are decreasing. We're not fully out of the woods yet, okay? We are still not anywhere near the levels that we saw this time last year in 2022, before all of the chaos began in the economy and also politically and socially, okay? When we look at the figures from the HMRC, monthly property transactions data shows that UK home sales were 10% lower in January 2023 this year than they were last year in January 2022. And some stats from the Bank of England show us that the number of mortgages approved to finance house purchases was 46% lower in January 2023 than they were last year in January 2022. So the overall message is, guys, yes, the housing market is recovering after quite a brutal battering back end of last year, but there's still a lot of work to do to get on par with where we were in the first half of the year last year, but we are heading in the right direction. So guys, that is a summary of the UK housing market for March 2023. Let me know your thoughts, okay? What do you think in terms of what's happening in the UK housing market right now? Do you think that we're going to continue recovering throughout the rest of the year and get back to where we were last year and even maybe even surpass that? Or do you think that this is all wrong and that we are heading downwards? Do you think that we are in trouble and they're just not picking up on it yet? Let me know in the comments. Would love to know your thoughts. Thank you for all your continued support on this channel, guys. If you'd like to show your appreciation, please do like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And I'll see you guys on the next one.